This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee, here on behalf of the NFC East Super Friends, talking about week one of the preseason as we go around the NFC East. Not a lot to talk about, so I won't talk your head off. I just want to give you a brief cliff note from each game and my biggest takeaway. Nasty weather, inclement weather on the East Coast on Thursday and Friday, so I'm going to kind of cut those two teams that played on those 2 days some slack, but I don't really think it was going to change their approach. The Giants had joint practices with the Lions, so they weren't going to put a lot of their starters out there anyhow, but the weather made it a lot easier for them to say, nah, we're going to punt on this preseason game. Malik Nabers was still out there, though, and he actually looked like he was open, and Drew Lock didn't get it to him. Speaking of Drew Lock, man, does he look like he's going to stink. The Giants feel like they're in a very similar position to where they were last year, minus Tyrod Taylor, right? When Tyrod got hurt and they had to put in Tommy DeVito, this is kind of where they feel like they are. Like, there's not a lot of depth behind Daniel Jones, the quarterback. Like, look, if Daniel Jones gets injured, their season's done anyway. If Daniel Jones plays poorly, their season is done anyway. We don't know what Daniel Jones is going to do. They've been talking about giving him weapons. He's got weapons. They've talked about getting him a better offensive line. They've improved the offensive line, so we'll see. But Drew Lock looked like he stinks. I'm just going to be honest with you. But threw a bad pick, looked like he missed a wide open Malik Nabers up the right sideline, and he got injured in the game. Took a shot to his, like a hip, maybe a hip pointer to his back, sort of, kind of. So he's going to be out for a little while, but it didn't look good before he got injured. But I'm here to talk about the running back position. Eric Gray looks good. Do not sleep on him. We've talked about the Giants running back situation on some of the streams, and I like Eric Gray. I liked him coming out of Oklahoma. He had arguably the best highlight from Thursday's action with that touchdown run where he broke a dude off and sprinted for the end zone. He looks good, but Tyrone Tracy Jr. may have injured himself significantly here. A non-contact injury in practice. Look, they had to put an air cast on it. It sounds bad, and if it is bad, that sucks because he was the guy that was supposed to add punch and explosiveness to that Giants backfield. You're not going to get it from Motor Singletary. You're not going to get it from Eric Gray. He was supposed to be the guy that provided you with a little bit of speed. You take him out of the equation, and it's a very ordinary backfield in terms of speed and home run hitting ability. But I like Eric Gray. Do not sleep on him. He was really good in this game. You go to Friday, and it's the Eagles taking on the Ravens. The Eagles really don't do a lot in the preseason to begin with, but the weather, as I mentioned, on the East Coast on Thursday and Friday made it very easy for anyone that was thinking about maybe playing starters to say, nah, we're good. The Eagles trotted out their new backup quarterback, and they've had three new backup quarterbacks they've had a backup quarterback each of the last 3 seasons. So, and none of them have been very good. And I think that's their biggest deficiency right now is behind Jalen Hurts, they don't have a guy that they trust. 2 years ago when Hurts went down, they put in Gardner Minshew, and he lost 2 games in a row, and they had to rush Hurts back because he wasn't fully healthy, but they couldn't afford to leave him out because another loss would have meant they were going to lose the division. Last year, Marcus Mariota was not very good as a backup quarterback. And this year, I think you're in the same boat. Kenny Pickett looks like he stinks. He threw the football 87 times for 84 yards. I think he averaged 4 yards per attempt in the game. Granted, backup receivers, wet day, I get it. Still, it wasn't pretty. And I think he sucks, to be honest with you. But small sample size, I'm going to give him a chance to prove that he doesn't suck. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But it was good to see Nolan Smith get a sack. You're going to need him to provide for you this upcoming season. And the rookie Jeremiah Trotter Jr. got a sack. Hey, how about that? So getting some pressure on the quarterback. Don't care who the quarterback happens to be. Nice to see some of the young fellas getting to the quarterback. So you get to the Commanders on Saturday. They played their starters on both sides of the football. The Jets did not. So I expected the Commanders to go out and take care of business. If you're playing their starters and they're not playing their starters, I would have been disappointed if the outcome would have been anything different. Jaden Daniels goes out, 1 drive, 11 plays, throws 3 passes, 2 of 3, 45 yards, including a 42-yard dime to De'Ami Brown that set up his 3-yard touchdown run on a read option keep. He looked the part in his first action in the NFL, and very pleased with what we saw there. The defense got on the field, got off the field 3 and out, and did what they needed to do and got out of there. So very pleased with what we saw from the Commanders versus the Jets in that ball game. And then finally, the Cowboys played on Sunday. The Cowboys usually punt on the preseason. Dak Prescott is nursing an injury, so wasn't expecting him to play anyway, but that's nor here nor there. The big story there, and the only reason to pay attention to the game, was because Trey Lance got an opportunity to play essentially the whole game, sans for one possession. He threw the football 41 times, did not eclipse 200 yards. It was not pretty. Most of the game was very, very erratic. We did see the wheels, though. He is athletic. That is something that he has not forgotten how to do, is run, but he's got to get better as a passer. And you'd like to think that that will happen over time. The Cowboys don't have great depth at the receiver position, so that doesn't help. But he wasn't super accurate with the football either. So there'll be a lot of time for him in this preseason to get reps, to get better. But this notion that the Cowboys can be fine without Dak Prescott is crazy. And if you think the heir apparent is on the roster, you got another thing coming. So this is going to be good work for Trey Lance, but he is not ready to play meaningful football in the NFL right now. That is apparent from this game. And again, a small sample size, but he did not look good. And the biggest storyline from this game is Jerry Jones continues to flap his gums about CeeDee Lamb, talking about, he put his foot in his mouth last week about CeeDee Lamb. So he's kind of trying to clean it up, and he still put his foot in his mouth further in saying the things that he said. Ultimately, they're going to get a long-term deal done with CeeDee Lamb prior to the season. And if you think otherwise, you're foolish. This is Jerry Jones's move. You're not going to force Jerry Jones to do anything that he doesn't want to do when he doesn't want to do it. He's going to sign CeeDee Lamb prior to their week 1 contest versus the Cleveland Browns, and he'll suit up then. And CeeDee will be ready. He's working out. He's staying in shape. This is a mutual, essentially, parting of him not showing up, not performing, because he wasn't going to play in the preseason anyway. And so he'll get a deal done, and he'll be a Dallas Cowboy. You can bookmark that. Before the start of the season, there will be a long-term deal done with CeeDee Lamb, and he will be ready to go in week 1 versus the Cleveland Browns. So that is your trip around the NFC East, brought to you by BetUS. Looking for a new book this year? BetUS is the answer. Fastest payouts in the industry. 125% sign-up bonus for up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. Fast and easy deposit and withdrawal process. If you want to check out BetUS, my link is down in the description below. Want to give a big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. So with that said, I look forward to chopping it up with you guys here in the near future. You know what it is. Like the video. All right. Any comments, leave them down in the comment section. Can't wait to read your responses as to how you thought the first week of the preseason went. And look forward to chopping it up with you guys next time. Until then, you guys have a good one. Take care.